Generally, this is how the human body presents. This is the posterior part. The posterior part is the behind part of your body. This is the anterior part, the front part of your body. So, as you see, this is a body without the skin. When you have your skin and you take off now the skin, what remains is the muscles. So, the muscular system is where the body now, you see the muscles all through. Because if you need to treat any part of a human body, you need to know exactly what muscles or which part of the body you want to treat. So, if a patient comes with, for example, pain at the thigh muscle, you need to know which muscles are at the thigh muscles, which muscles are affecting all movements at the thigh muscles. If you want to look at maybe the abdominal muscles, whereby the muscles on the abdominal part of your body, you look at the mid part of the body. So if you're treating or if you are training the function of muscles that are at the abdominal part, you should consider exactly which muscles you want to treat. So most of the time when a patient comes to a physiotherapist, we look at which function or which muscles have less function. So we have to test the strength of all these muscles, or a particular part of a muscle which has pain or which has dysfunction. So we strengthen the muscle. If it's at the thigh, if it's at the lower foot, if it's the abdominal, if it's at the upper body, you have to assess that muscle and treat that muscle. So by treating, what do? You'll have the anatomy, which is the knowledge. You have the anatomy in your mind and you know exactly which muscle has been affected, and to make sure that patient go back to functional activity, you have to understand what does that muscle do. If you know what muscle does, you know that I'm going to treat this patient to have a function that was limited due to an injury or due to a disease. So this is the muscular system, how it appears without your skin.
And that was not a biology class, but the show Elimu Nguvu, your weekly insight on matters career. Welcome to the show. I can imagine what your guesses are regarding the career we are to look into today, but don't scratch your head because I, Purity Mokuhe, got your back. Think of an individual who caters to resolving pain issues in your muscles. Yes, a career whose main work is to cure body aches. Before I let it all out, here are the highlights of what to expect.
So we'll divide 15 by 2. So we have 7.5 kilos. So he's lifting 7.5 kilos, which are 15 pounds. And now he has done 19 repetitions. This is the 20th repetition. Go down. That is the 21st repetition. So these are the repetitions and these are the kilos that he's lifting.
In the field of medicine, there are dietitians when it comes to matters diet, psychologists on matters mental health. Ever thought of the career of an individual who is a physiotherapist? Yes, an individual who attempts to address illnesses or injuries that limit a person's abilities to move or perform functional activities in their daily lives. Let's begin the show. Good evening and welcome to today's episode of Elimu Nguvu. Now, as you can see, we are in a gym, but this is not your normal everyday kind of gym. It is a physiotherapy gym. And with us on set, I have a very neat gentleman, and he's going to tell us what all these equipment are used for. And he has a very long title, so I won't do any introduction. So you'll get to hear from him what is your title, first of all, your name, what you do, and for how long you have been a practitioner in this field.
Thank you so much. Welcome to our hospital, the Aga Khan University Hospital. My names are Timothy, Lonnina, DAJOM. I am a physiotherapist, specialist in orthopedic manual therapy. Physiotherapy is a course that is taken in Kenya. It's available in Kenya. And you basically go through a training whereby you specialize in a human body, and mostly the subject that we specialize in is the anatomy. The anatomy is the whole human body, whereby you need to understand the specific muscles, bones, nerves, and all the function of the muscles and the nerves. So a physiotherapist is a specialist in function and movement.
Now that we've talked about now what orthopedic manual physiotherapy is all about, we have physiotherapy and we have orthopedic physiotherapy. So what is the difference between the three?
Physiotherapy is a general study whereby I was trained as a general physiotherapist, where now I can treat all conditions, including neuromuscular conditions. I can treat neurological conditions. I can treat also orthopedic conditions, and I can do rehabilitation. That is a physiotherapist. So a physiotherapist is like a general practitioner who does a whole lots of bunch of treatments. But when you specialize in orthopedic manual physiotherapist, you go to a certain direction whereby your area of specialization is the orthopedic part, the orthopedic area of the body. And mostly the orthopedic part is the bones and the muscles, all right? So when a specialist or when you trained in orthopedic manual physiotherapist, you go to a direction whereby your clients will be injuries aimed at the muscles and the bones.
And I think you're doing a very commendable job at that. And you mentioned that you were good in sciences. So going back to the high school experience, what subjects did you love? And first of all, were sciences compulsory in your school, or what? How was it like?
The three sciences. So you had no choice of choosing which one. And I like it because since we were in Form 1, you knew very well up to Form 4 you must do the three sciences. So the love of all sciences was mandatory. So we loved them, actually, biology, chemistry, and physics. So personally, I performed very well in biology and chemistry. Physics was not very good with me, but I did well. My life was not in the direction of physics. My life was much more in the direction of biology. So biology was very good for me, and biology and chemistry was perfect for me.
Maybe as for the subjects that you didn't really have a liking to, what were the subjects?
One, geography. Yeah. Geography and history. These subjects to me were a bit nothing new coming from geography and history. Remember the history we used to learn about old things, which to me I thought this will not really help me in my career. Geography for me was not really interesting because I thought there was no career anyone will do being geography, which I was wrong. But still, I performed well because geography was one of my subjects that I did. I dropped history, but I did geography. Yeah.
And as for your high school experience, now looking back, what did you say was your best memory from high school? Was it maybe, finishing Form 4? People finish Form 4, you feel you have achieved, this is the day. So what was it for you?
My best moment was when the results came out, and we didn't have phones to text or to be told you've passed or not. You were just called to the school. So we were called to the school, the whole class. We were told, now we are going to line you up and give you your results. So our principal, Mr. Ombua, he's called Mr. Ombua. He was called Mr. Ombua. He was our mathematics teacher. So he was the first one to give us the results because he knew very well his subject has done well. So for him to pat his back, he had to do to show off this is my subject and they have done really well. So he started with mathematics, and then we went to Kiswahili and English, and then sciences, and then the humanities. So we were called to school, given the results, and then everybody got a present because according to the principal, everybody has done well. And it was perfect for me because I had not gotten a present from anyone for a whole of my life. That was my first present. And guess the present was
What was it? What were you guys given?
For me, I was not a phone. I was given a shoe.
What was your coursework like? I think medicine is a very intense field. I see people. I'm in campus, so I see people studying late at night. So what was it like for you? How did you handle that pressure of doing medicine?
First of all, we had our seniors before us, so the welcome was very nice because, well, you've been told this is your course. First of all, you need to know your coursework. What are you going to study? What are you expected to do? So first year is generally, I can say, is the orientation in life of medical school. You need to understand where do we go for the lab work, where do we go for the anatomy work, where do we do our physical activities, especially demonstration of gym work, like we're doing here. So those are the basic coursework. And another thing, you needed to know your library, because the library was the core room for us. And again, now the dining hall where, okay? So, yeah. So I was a boarder for the rest of my 3 years. I used to board in school, wake up in school, and go to class. So the life of a physiotherapist is waking up in the hostel, you go to the class, from class maybe activities of maybe you're doing coursework of maybe anatomy lab work. So for me, it was very good because I was not from Nairobi. I had no relatives in Nairobi. So I had to come from the hostel to class. My day ends, back to the hostel. So at night, that is the time you'll get to go to the library, because that is the quiet moment of time. But again, the library had closing time. So you'll go to the library, get your favorite book or a book that you want to do an assignment with, and then go to your study room. You can either go to your hostel or go to class. And then again, still at night, you still have to get time whereby you will join your seniors in hospital. We trained near Kenyatta Hospital. So Kenyatta Hospital was a walking distance from our school. So you go there, look at what they are doing, try, they say no, don't. Do it again, they say no, don't, until you're perfect. So generally you have to be with someone who has more qualifications, or rather more experience, so that he can tell you this is the right way to handle a human body, this is the right way to treat, and this is not the right way. Yeah. So for me, I went through all that.
So now, moving on, probably the people who want to do, orthopedic manual physiotherapy, and they're wondering how long will this take? You've now right from campus, how long will it take? And also, you've mentioned that it is actually being offered as a course. You don't have to go into medicine. So probably where is it being offered? Where you can do it now directly instead of going through medicine first, and how long will it take?
First of all, physiotherapy right now has become diverse. The Jomo Kenyatta University is training bachelors of science in physiotherapy. More universities training, mentioning a few, but the college that I trained was Kenya Medical College. For a long time, it was the sole training center for physiotherapists. Right now, it has been diverse. The universities have taken up the courses. So you don't need to do medicine. You don't need to do any medical or any medicine course so that you can do physiotherapy. You can just go to the college, apply directly to do physiotherapy as a general course. And then for orthopedic manual physiotherapy, you apply as a special. You must have graduated and being certified by the licensing body. So once you've been certified and you're licensed to practice, that's when you can apply to be an orthopedic manual physiotherapist. So you cannot come from high school and then you become an orthopedic manual physiotherapist. You must be a physiotherapist and then you become an orthopedic manual physiotherapist.
So for the physiotherapist, the general physiotherapist,
yeah.
It will take 4 years, right?
In college is 3 years.
3 years?
In campus is 4 years.
4 years.
Yes.
And so what was your best memory from campus, looking back? Maybe friends or even, anatomy, as you say?
My best moment was when we were going to the anatomy lab. when we were doing the cadaver dissection of the human body. So very lame though, dissecting. Because like for you to understand the human body, I have to know what makes you stand, what makes you sit, which muscle makes you blink your eye, which muscle makes you smile. So with the skin, you're looking very beautiful, but now without the skin, you're looking muscles and nerves and bones. So my best moment was when we were going to the anatomy lab. We used to go to Chiromo. We had a study lab whereby a cadaver is placed on the body, on the bed, on the couch, and then the teacher points out, show me the muscle that moves the arm. So you go, pin the muscle, and you put a stick on top, like you label the muscle. Which muscle is that? What is the action of that muscle? How does that muscle get blood supply? How does that muscle function if this person had an injury? So that was like a visual training. Like you could know a human body consists of so many muscles, so many nerves, and so many bones. So all that was very interesting for me because I've always seen machines around me, TVs, yes, you've seen cars, and the way a mechanic dissects a car, the same way we used to dissect a human body so that you can understand if I'm treating you, which part exactly am I supposed to handle. Yeah.
Your worst memory?
Oh, my worst memory, I can say, was when we were in first year and we were introduced to the morgue. When you're in first year and you're told, now we are taking you for an orientation. So everybody's excited, orientation, nice place. So guess what? The orientation was the morgue. So you're taken in there, you're told, now find your way out, you know. So to me it was a worst moment because I had eaten meat before that moment, and coming now to see live, or rather dead people, was not the best. So I went out and had to puke because really sorry. Yeah. And at that moment you're in first year, you know nothing, you know no one. So it was just like a welcoming. According to them, they call it a welcoming party for the newcomers. But it hadn't us. Yes. Yeah. It hadn't us.
It's time we take a breather, but don't go far, as we are yet to hear from Timothy what skills and character he embraced over time as a practicing physiotherapist, as well as the achievements in his career life. All this after the break, but first the educational quote of the day by Carol Lewis.
Don't try to teach perfect movement patterns. Instead, try to correct the key fault that is causing the trouble.